Imagine walking into just a cavernous, dark gym. It's 6 in the morning,
Pretty early for most people.
right? And you're the legendary new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, stepping into your new domain.
You'd naturally expect to be the first one in the building, right?
Exactly. But instead, you walk through the parking lot and you find your 20-year-old star player fast asleep in his car.
Just completely passed out.
Yeah, because he's already completed this grueling multi-hour workout, pushed his body to absolute exhaustion, and is now, like, power napping before the official team practice even begins.
It's wild.
It really is. Welcome to the Deep Dive, everyone. Today we're extracting the core principles of a concept that has, honestly, entirely transcended the world of sports. We're talking about the Mamba Mentality.
And we've got some amazing source material for this.
We do. We're pulling from Kobe Bryant's own book, The Mamba Mentality, How I Play. And what makes this text so rich is that it also features, candid, behind-the-scenes insights from his Hall of Fame coach, Phil Jackson.
Right, and his incredibly close teammate, Pau Gasol.
Yeah, exactly. So our mission today is to take his absolute basketball genius and translate that relentless drive into actionable advice. Stuff you can actually apply to your own daily professional goals.
Because it's not just about basketball.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this, because to really understand the mythology of those 5 championships, we have to strip away the fame and look at how this obsession actually took root.
We really do need to set a baseline here. Because anyone opening this book expecting a standard, sports memoir,
They're going to be surprised.
totally surprised. This is genuinely a masterclass in the psychology of peak performance. We are charting a very specific chronological path today.
From the very beginning, right?
Exactly. From a startlingly pure childhood passion all the way to his status as a senior statesman of the game. The most crucial thing to understand is that the Mamba mentality did not begin with this cutthroat desire to destroy opponents.
Which is what everyone assumes.
Right? It actually began with a profound, highly sensory love for the physical craft itself.
Yeah, the way he describes his childhood obsession in the book is, it's almost poetic.
It really is.
It wasn't about the roar of a crowd or, winning trophies. He was absolutely infatuated with the physical basketball itself.
The actual object.
Yeah. He talks about feeling the pebbled leather grains against his palms, tracing the perfect predictability of the rubber grooves.
He actually mentions that he would sometimes hesitate to bounce a brand new ball.
Because he didn't want to ruin the surface. I love that detail.
It's so specific. But when he finally did bounce it, he fell in love with the acoustics of it.
Tap, tap, tap.
Exactly. He calls it the tap, tap, tap of the ball echoing on the hardwood. That singular, pure, sensory connection was the actual root of his entire lifelong process.
And when you have that deep love for the details, it changes everything.
It does. When you establish that level of deep intrinsic love for the granular details of your craft, discipline completely changes its shape.
It's no longer a chore.
Right. It stops feeling like an obligation and becomes a natural byproduct of your curiosity. You see that immediately in how he approached learning as a young kid.
He had this incredibly short learning curve, didn't he?
Oh, unbelievably short. He would watch a veteran player execute a move or study it on a VHS tape.
Classic VHS.
Yeah, the old tapes. He'd go out to the driveway to practice it immediately, refine it the very next day, and then just seamlessly deploy it in a live game.
And he explicitly notes a psychological advantage he had there. He simply wasn't afraid of looking foolish.
Which is huge for a kid.
Right. Like if he tried a new move in a game and completely missed the shot or tripped over his own feet, the embarrassment just didn't register.
He didn't care at all.
The only metric he cared about was acquiring a new tool for his arsenal. He uses this brilliant analogy in the text to explain his mindset.
The watch analogy.
Yes. He says that while most people are perfectly happy just looking at a watch to tell the time, he was the type of person who needed to unscrew the back plate.
To figure out exactly how the gears and springs work together.
Exactly. Yeah. He needed to know the mechanics.
And that mechanical curiosity didn't just apply to basketball moves, It extended to his own physical limitations.
Oh, the left-hand thing.
Yes. The metacognition he displayed at an astonishingly young age is just wild. At just 6 years old, he recognized that his left hand was weaker and less coordinated than his right.
Which is normal. Most kids just favor their dominant hand.
Of course they do. But he harbored this deep hatred for the feeling of being vulnerable or, having a glaring weakness.
What did he do?
To eliminate that discomfort, a 6-year-old Kobe Bryant started brushing his teeth with his left hand.
Wow.
Yeah, he started writing his name with his left hand.
If someone is sitting in an office right now or maybe managing a new startup, that left-hand toothbrush concept translates so perfectly.
How so?
Well, maybe your left hand is a new data analytics software that everyone else is adopting, but you've been secretly avoiding it because it makes you feel incompetent.
Oh, that's a great point.
Or maybe it's the act of giving critical feedback to your employees, which just makes you wince.
What's fascinating here is that the principle of attacking vulnerability is universal. It's about aggressively identifying your uncomfortable weaknesses and forcing yourself to live inside them until the friction disappears.
You just have to do it every day.
Right. You brush your teeth with that uncomfortable task every single day. Doing that doesn't just improve the skill.
It builds confidence.
Absolute bulletproof confidence, because you know you aren't hiding anything.
And he also recognized that physical habits weren't enough, right? He had to build his mental stamina off the court, too.
Specifically so his mind wouldn't wander when he was on the court.
Yeah, he talks about treating his time in the classroom or reading a book at home as active training grounds.
He would force himself to be intensely present in those mundane daily moments.
Which is so hard to do now.
It is, because he viewed focus as a muscle that requires constant tension to grow. And we live in an age characterized by fractured attention. You cannot expect to magically summon intense, laser-like focus when the stakes are high, say, during a massive client pitch, if you spend your downtime letting your brain jump between a dozen different distractions.
Scrolling on your phone, checking emails.
Exactly. By practicing deep presence in ordinary tasks, he was structurally building the neural pathways required to sustain extreme focus during a chaotic, high-stakes game.
And because he spent his childhood building up that massive capacity for focus, he had the mental bandwidth as an adult to see details on game film that everyone else completely overlooked.
The tape study is incredible.
Let's look at how he broke down the pick and roll. When most players study tape on how to defend a pick and roll, their eyes naturally track the guy with the ball.
Sure, it's the loudest, most obvious part of the play.
Right. But Kobe ignored the ball handler. He studied the screener.
Because he realized the screener is the actual architecture of the play.
Well,
Yeah, he would map out exactly where on the floor a specific player liked to set their screen. He studied the angle of their hips, the width of their stance, their timing.
He was looking at the root cause of the play.
Exactly. He understood that the ball handler is just reacting to the space created by the screener. If you understand the screener's geometry, you can plot a route to disrupt them.
Blow up the space.
Yes, and completely negate the entire play before the ball handler even makes a decision.
Here's where it gets really interesting for the listener, though. Think about how studying the screener translates to launching a project or walking into a boardroom.
Oh, I like this.
In business, the screener is the underlying systemic issue, or perhaps the quiet stakeholder sitting in the corner of the meeting who actually holds the veto power.
Right, the person actually dictating the play.
Meanwhile, everyone else in the room is distracted by the loud, aggressive project manager who is the ball handler. If you only react to the obvious, noisy problem, you are going to get blocked.
That's a perfect analogy, because Kobe studied film not to react faster, but to manipulate the entire board.
He wanted to be in control.
He wanted to dictate the terms of engagement. Just look at his preparation for Allen Iverson.
Oh, Iverson was unbelievable.
One of the most lethal scorers in history, a player who relied heavily on rhythm. But Kobe didn't just study Iverson's moves.
What did he do?
He studied the overarching offensive system run by Iverson's coach, Larry Brown. By doing that, Kobe decoded Iverson's internal clock.
He found a pattern.
A highly specific one. He noticed a statistical anomaly. Iverson's most aggressive, rhythm-building attack patterns almost always occurred between the 10-minute and the 8-minute mark of a quarter.
Wait, really? Just a 2-minute window?
Just that 2-minute window. So, armed with that highly specific data, Kobe would completely change his defensive pressure for those 2 exact minutes.
That is insane.
He would bump Iverson off his spots, aggressively deny him the ball, and force him to catch passes 30 feet away from the basket.
He basically fractured his momentum.
Exactly, just by understanding the timing of the offensive system better than the offense itself.
And he applied that same hyper-specific mechanical breakdown to Chris Paul, too.
CP3, an absolute maestro with the basketball.
Yeah, and Kobe knew his entire offense was predicated on going to his right hand to initiate angles. So Kobe's strategy was remarkably literal. He would physically tie up Paul's right hand with his own left hand.
It's so simple but so effective. If you neutralize a point guard's dominant hand, you aren't just stopping their shot.
You're collapsing the whole structure.
Exactly. You are collapsing the entire offensive structure they're trying to orchestrate. And when Paul would find himself in the post and try to cheat to one side to steal the ball, Kobe didn't panic.
He just held it up high, right?
Yeah. He countered by simply holding the ball high above Paul's sightline, completely removing the opportunity. He turned physical mismatches into simple geometry problems.
He even did this with the towering centers. Guys like Dikembe Mutombo and Hakeem Olajuwon.
The big men.
Yeah. When Kobe watched them on film, he noticed a subtle veteran trick. When an offensive player drove to the basket, these big men would use their left hand, as a hidden weapon in the air.
Like pulling them down.
Subtly, yeah. They would pin the driver's hip or pull their arm to throw off their center of gravity. It looked to the referees like fundamentally sound vertical defense, but it was actually a trap designed to strip your balance.
And the standard reaction to a trap like that is to try and finesse your way around it.
Which usually results in a bad shot.
Right. But Kobe's counter was brilliant in its understanding of physics. Instead of finessing, he would absorb the contact directly into their chest.
Oh, wow.
By driving his body into their mass, he used their own defensive momentum against them. It removed their ability to use that offhand leverage and usually drew the foul.
It's that kind of psychological and physical dominance that builds an aura. I mean, even Kevin Garnett,
Oh, Garnett was ruthless.
widely considered one of the most ruthless trash talkers in league history. He famously refused to talk smack to Kobe.
Really?
Yeah. Garnett understood that verbal warfare wouldn't rattle Kobe. It would only provide him with more data and motivation to level up.
He treated physical positioning on the court the way a physicist treats leverage. He actually talks about defending the perimeter specialist Bruce Bowen by treating defensive footwork like riding a motorcycle.
How so?
Well, when you ride a motorcycle at high speeds, you don't turn the handlebars. You turn by looking through the curve and leaning your head and body weight to apply torque.
Okay.
Kobe applied that exact same principle of kinetic leverage to his feet and shoulders. He was continuously dictating the angles, forcing the offensive player into the exact pocket of space he wanted them to occupy.
But, manipulating defenders with your feet and studying systemic timing is completely useless if you're too exhausted to hold a defensive stance in the fourth quarter.
Oh, absolutely. Stamina is everything.
You have to have the physical stamina to execute the blueprint. Which brings us to the engine of this mindset. And we get to view this through the lens of his coach, Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson's perspective adds incredible weight to this book. When Jackson first met Kobe in a hotel suite in 1999...
This was before he was even formally introduced to the LA press, right?
Yeah, before the press conference, Jackson was stunned because Jackson runs a system called the triangle offense.
Right. Famously complex.
Very. To put it simply, the triangle isn't a playbook of set plays. It's a highly intricate, fluid system built on constant reading and reacting based on spatial geometry. It usually takes seasoned veterans years to fully grasp.
And Kobe.
This 20-year-old kid already knew it perfectly.
Jackson also observed this relentless, almost punishing obsession with detail. He shares a story about a Lakers practice where the team was playing a casual three-point shooting game called Cat.
Like HORSE, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But Kobe actually refused to participate.
Really? Why?
He openly admitted to the coaching staff that he simply wasn't a good enough three-point shooter yet, and he didn't want to reinforce bad habits in a casual game.
Wow.
But he didn't just accept that weakness. He spent the entire subsequent offseason meticulously rebuilding his shooting mechanics from the ground up.
And the result?
The following year, he led the entire league in scoring.
The daily routine required to maintain that edge is staggering. Phil Jackson would schedule his coaches' meetings for 8:30 in the morning.
Which is pretty standard.
Standard, right. But when Jackson pulled his car into the practice facility lot, he would see Kobe asleep in his vehicle.
This is what we talked about at the start.
Yes, Kobe had been arriving at the dark gym at 6 a.m., putting himself through a grueling, sweat-drenched pre-practice workout in total isolation. And he was power napping before the rest of the roster even arrived.
He also talks about his famous midnight workouts. He would hit the gym in the middle of the night, long after everyone else was asleep. But wait, I have to stop and push back on this a bit.
Sure, go ahead.
For the listener's sake, taking this literally sounds dangerous. Sacrificing sleep to go run sprints at midnight sounds like a fast track to complete physical and mental burnout for a normal professional.
Oh, absolutely it does.
So what does this all mean for you and me? How is that in any way sustainable?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the text is absolutely not advocating for chronic sleep deprivation.
Okay, good.
Kobe explains exactly why he did it. He had a structural problem in his life. He fiercely wanted to be present with his wife and daughters during the day, but he refused to compromise on his elite preparation.
So he just moved his schedule around.
The midnight workouts were his solution to that friction. The core actionable advice here is about radical ownership of your time. He didn't make excuses about not having enough hours in the day.
He engineered a solution to fix his specific problem.
Exactly.
And he applied that same concept of finding the root cause to his body as he aged. Like, he realized that a stiff right ankle would alter his gait, which would then create a chain reaction of pain shooting up through his knees and settling into his lower back.
Exactly. Instead of just treating the symptom like, icing a sore back, he treated the stiff ankle.
You treated the root cause.
That is what the midnight workouts and the physical maintenance represent. It's a mindset of surgical precision. You identify the true root cause of your obstacles.
Whether it's a biomechanical issue causing back pain or a time management issue causing friction in your household.
Right. And you aggressively fix the source so you can sustain your drive over the span of a 20-year career.
That surgical precision is how he mastered his own mind, decoded his opponents, and managed his routine. But basketball, much like running a company, is a team endeavor.
You do not win 5 championships by yourself.
No, you don't. Elevating the people around you requires a very specific brand of leadership. And his transition from a solo scoring prodigy into a senior statesman is brilliantly detailed by his teammate, Pau Gasol.
Pau Gasol's forward immediately establishes the intense tone of Kobe's leadership. Gasol is traded to the Lakers midway through the 2008 season.
And his travel schedule is brutal, right?
Oh, it's a nightmare. He flies cross-country from Memphis to Los Angeles, then immediately boards another flight to Washington, D.C. to meet the team and pass a physical.
Just nonstop.
He finally drops his bags in his hotel room well past 1:00 a.m., completely exhausted, and almost immediately there's a knock on his door.
It's Kobe.
It's Kobe.
And Kobe wasn't there to offer a warm, relaxing welcome. His message was incredibly direct. He just said, "There is no time to waste. The moment is now. Let's go get ourselves a ring."
Gasol notes that Kobe's urgency was unmistakable and infectious.
During the 2010 finals against the Boston Celtics, Kobe was texting Gasol to come down to his hotel room so they could watch highly specific, granular film clips on exactly how Boston was covering the pick and roll.
He wanted Gasol to see the exact angles they were going to exploit the next night.
And Gasol explicitly compares Kobe to an older brother. And older brothers don't typically coddle you.
They challenge you.
Yeah, Kobe's leadership style was very deliberate in that he intentionally made his teammates uncomfortable. He firmly believed that discomfort forces introspection, and introspection is the only path to improvement.
We see this vividly when he challenged LeBron James during a Team USA game.
Oh, the Olympic team story.
Yeah.
They were playing sloppy basketball in the first half, kind of relying on their sheer talent rather than executing.
Right, just cruising.
So Kobe walked into the locker room at halftime and asked LeBron, in very colorful language, what on earth they were doing out there.
He didn't hold back.
Not at all. He wanted to force a killer mentality onto the team. And he notes that LeBron responded in the second half by playing with a truly dominant, ruthless mindset.
He applied that same pressure to the young draft picks at the end of his career with the Lakers, too. Guys like D'Angelo Russell and Jordan Clarkson.
He was relentlessly hard on those young guys to expedite their professional growth.
He viewed the Lakers franchise as an exclusive historical fraternity. He felt a profound obligation to pass down the knowledge, what he called the historical jewels that legends like Magic Johnson and Jerry West had entrusted to him when he was a teenager.
You know, it reminds me of a master chef running the kitchen of a Michelin star restaurant.
Oh, I like that.
The head chef does not care if the line cooks like him during the heat of the Friday night dinner rush. He only cares that the final dish leaving the kitchen is absolutely flawless.
And that by surviving the intense pressure of his kitchen, you are forced to realize your own untapped potential.
Exactly.
This raises an important question, though, for anyone listening who manages a team or mentors junior colleagues. How do we approach mentorship?
Right. Do we soften our feedback because we desperately want to be liked?
Or do we respect our colleagues enough to demand their absolute best? Kobe's method of teaching wasn't just barking instructions. He points out that lesser coaches try telling you what to do, But brilliant coaches teach you how to think.
Give a man a fish versus teach a man to fish.
Exactly. He uses that classic metaphor. It's the difference between telling a teammate where the fish are versus teaching them how to read the currents and find the fish themselves.
He wanted his teammates to independently read the game's geometry the exact same way he did.
Which is the ultimate goal of a leader.
You don't get two jerseys, number 8 and number 24, retired by one of the most storied franchises in sports history without fundamentally elevating the entire organization.
That's a legacy right there.
So as we bring all these pieces together, look at the incredible chronological journey we've mapped out today. We started with a young kid who was mesmerized by the simple sensory feel of the leather.
The tap, tap, cat.
We watched that kid evolve into a ruthless tactician who meticulously decoded Larry Brown's offensive timing and neutralized Chris Paul's dominant hand.
We saw the grueling 6.0 a.m. dark gym workouts witnessed by Phil Jackson.
And finally, we saw the demanding, highly effective brotherly leadership that Pau Gasol leaned on to secure those final championships.
Through all of those distinct eras of his life, the through line is exactly what Kobe intended this book to convey to the world. The Mamba Mentality is not a basketball strategy.
It's way bigger than that.
It is a comprehensive lifestyle. It is never about seeking a specific result, like a promotion or a trophy. It is about obsessing over the granular process of getting to that result.
The process is everything.
It's the willingness to self-assess your own uncomfortable weaknesses, whether that's your left hand at 6 years old or your three-point mechanics at 20, and systematically turning those vulnerabilities into your greatest weapons.
It is the definition of relentless forward motion. Which brings us to a final thought for you to mull over as you transition back to your own daily grind.
Something to take with you.
Right. We look at the totality of Kobe's legendary career, the midnight workouts, the architectural defensive mastery, the 5 rings. But remember that all of that massive empire building stemmed from one initial, deeply pure childhood fascination with the simple tap, tap, tap of the basketball on the hardwood.
That pure connection.
So what is the fundamental tap, tap, tap in your own career or passion? Have you lost touch with the simple sensory joy of your craft under the weight of deadlines and obligations?
It's easy to do.
It really is. And if you have, how could reconnecting with that pure, quiet core reignite your own relentless drive?